Hello everyone. So today we will be studying Parkinsonism and anti-Parkinsonian drugs. This is the first lecture of this series, and in this lecture we will be discussing Parkinsonism and Parkinson's disease, its prognosis in a nutshell, the pathophysiology of Parkinsonism and Parkinson disease, dopamine with respect to its receptor, its synthesis, storage and release, and neural mechanism of Parkinsonism, and drug targets in Parkinson's disease. So first of all, coming to Parkinsonism. Parkinsonism is a clinical syndrome characterized by 4 cardinal features. The features are bradykinesia, muscular rigidity, resting tremor, and impairment of postural balance leading to disturbances of gait and falling. So first, coming to bradykinesia, it is the slowness and poverty of movement. Then in the muscular rigidity, the rigidity is of cogwheel rigidity. Resting tremor is of pill rolling type. And it abates with voluntary movement, that is, it is absent with voluntary movement, and impairment of postural balances leading to disturbance in gait, and this gait is typically known as shuffling gait. It is the involuntary gait, that is acceleration after the initiation. Okay, so these are the 4 cardinal features of Parkinsonism. Idiopathic Parkinsonism is known as Parkinson's disease. Now the distinction between idiopathic Parkinson's disease and other causes of Parkinsonism is important because Parkinsonism arising from other causes are usually refractory to all form of treatment. Distinction between idiopathic Parkinson disease and other causes of Parkinsonism is important because Parkinsonism arising from other causes is refractory to all forms of treatment. Okay, Coming to the prognosis, without treatment, Parkinson's disease progresses over 5 to 10 years to cause rigid akinetic state, in which the patient is incapable of caring for themselves. And death frequently results from the complications of immobility. Immobility including aspiration pneumonia, or pulmonary embolism. Now, the availability of effective pharmacological treatment has radically altered the prognosis of Parkinson's disease. In most cases, good functional mobility can be maintained for many years. With pharmacological treatment, most cases good functional mobility can be maintained Now coming to the pathology of Parkinson's disease. The pathological hallmark of Parkinson's disease is the loss of pigmented dopaminergic neurons of the substantia nigra pars compacta. There is appearance of intracellular inclusions known as Lewy bodies. The principal component of these Lewy bodies is alpha synuclein. a loss of 70 to 80% of the dopamine containing neuron accompanies symptomatic Parkinson's disease. Now coming to a bit about dopamine. It is a neurotransmitter. It's a catecholamine which is synthesized in the terminals of dopaminergic neurons from tyrosine. Now coming to the dopamine receptors. The dopamine receptors are of two broad classes: the D1 group and D2 group. In the D1 group, there are 5 distinct subtypes of the dopamine receptors in general. So D1 to 5, and in the D1 group, that is D1 and D5 are there. These are coupled to GS and they cause activation of cyclic AMP pathway. In the D2 group, the dopamine receptor D2, D4 and D3 are there, and they are coupled with GI. That leads to the decrease in the adenyl cyclase activity and voltage gated calcium channels. And activation of potassium currents. D1 and D2 are abundant in the striatum. And this D1 and D2 are important sites as regards the cause and treatment of the Parkinson's disease. Apart from this, the D3 is abundant in the nucleus accumbens and olfactory tubercle. And D4 and D5 are largely extrastriatal. So in regard to the Parkinson's disease, we need to remember that D1 and D2 are abundant in the striatum and they are important sites of the cause and treatment of Parkinson's disease. In this, the D1 group, that is D1 and D5, they are coupled to GS and they cause an activation of the cyclic AMP pathway, whereas the D2 group, that is D2, D4 and D5, D2, D4 and D3, they are coupled to GI and they cause decrease in the adenylyl cyclase activity and voltage gated calcium channels and activation of the potassium currents. Now a question can be asked, what are the different dopaminergic pathways? So there are 4 pathways: nigrostriatal pathway, mesocorticolimbic pathway, mesocortical pathway, and tuberoinfundibular pathway. Now coming to the synthesis, storage and release of dopamine. So dopamine, it is synthesized from tyrosine. It is synthesized from tyrosine by the sequential action of tyrosine hydrolase and aromatic L-amino decarboxylase to dopamine. Okay. After that, it is sequestered via the VMAT2 into the storage granules, and once it is sequestered, after that it is released by exocytosis. The synaptic dopamine that has come out due to the exocytosis may be taken up into the neuron via the neuronal reuptake mechanism by dopamine and norepinephrine transporter, then either stored by VMAT2 or they may be metabolized. Also, the synaptic DA can also be removed by the postsynaptic uptake by the organic cation transporter, that is OCT3, and the cytosolic dopamine is then degraded into the degraded by MAO and ALDH in the neuron. MAO is monoamine oxidase and ALDH is aldehyde dehydrogenase. And the final product, metabolic product, is homovalinic acid. Now coming to the neural mechanism of Parkinsonism. The loss of dopaminergic neurons in the substantia nigra pars compacta is the main pathology behind the Parkinson's disease. So this is a simple schematic diagram showing the neural mechanism of Parkinsonism. In this, what happens is, in Parkinsonism there is overactivity of the indirect pathway. So the neurons in the globus pallidus and substantia nigra pars reticularis, they become more active. This causes inhibition of thalamus, ventrolateral nuclei of the thalamus, by GABA release. There is inhibition of the ventrolateral nuclei of the thalamus, which causes reduced excitatory input to the cortex. So the main problem here is there is decrease in the dopamine over here. So once dopamine is decreased, there is overactivity of this indirect pathway. So this subthalamic nucleus will stimulate more of glutamine, and glutamine is a excitatory neurotransmitter, it will stimulate the globus pallidus internus and substantia nigra pars reticularis to release more of GABA. So GABA is a inhibitory neurotransmitter, as we all know. So this GABA will cause inhibition of the ventrothalamic nuclei. Once this ventrothalamic nuclei is inhibited, there is less of release of glutamate and less of excitation of the cortex. So there is reduced excitatory input in the cortex, and there is always a balance between the dopamine levels and the acetylcholine levels. In Parkinson's disease, what happens? There is reduced dopaminergic activity and increased cholinergic activity. So in the treatment, what we do, we have two targets. Either we can enhance the dopaminergic activity, or we can give anticholinergics. That too, we need to give the central anticholinergics.